Brain Performance Center, and I'd like to share a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Fear affects more people than anything else in the world. Stop and think about that. Fear is not something that we're born with. It's something that we learn from life experiences. If we're in a situation where we get hurt or we see someone else get hurt, we learn to fear that situation. But fear only exists in the mind. If you go out there and you're looking for it in the world, there's only one place you're going to find it, right here. Fear comes from the inside, and it lives in our mind. And fear often can interfere with our life. It can impact every aspect of our life. And it seems so ridiculous to think, oh, I'm scared to death to go stand on that stage and talk. But it's very real. When you think about standing on that stage and you get that tight knot in your gut, or your chest gets so heavy and those thoughts start running through your mind, it's very, very real. It's as real as can be. Fear is the most researched, and we know more about fear than any other emotion. It's because we have so many physiological changes in our body that go with fear. And fear is important from an evolutionary standpoint. If you think about our ancestors, they learned that when they saw that wolf or that bear, that they could cause pain and it could hurt them. It probably helped many of our ancestors survive, so there's good fear and there's bad fear. Fear can hold you back. There's fear that restricts you from doing things. When we think about getting older, or we think about losing money back in 2008 when the stock market crashed. Those things, when we think of those things, it restricts us. Or we're afraid we're going to die from cancer. And then there's another kind of fear that requires action. Maybe you're thinking about changing a job, or maybe you're thinking about beginning or ending a relationship. And to take that action produces fear within you. But all fear is not bad. Fear is built into our brain. It's actually a survival technique. And there's some good things that are associated with fear as well. One thing for sure, fear heightens our sense of awareness. When you get in that basic level of fear and you get into that fight or flight mode and you don't know what to do, your senses are more attuned to what's going on around you. You can think about what you need to do to prepare for that. There's good and there's bad with fear. Just knowing that everybody faces fear at some point in their life and they persevere through it and they get through it, I find that to be inspiring and motivation. Let's face it, when you're at the end of the rope and you're stuck in that fearful state and you've got to make a decision, it intensifies your focus. It helps you to get out of yourself and look at yourself from the outside world and ask yourself, what should I do to move forward? Your thoughts, they really do influence all of your life and your family and your friends. And if you have negative thoughts create negative feelings and behaviors. And if you have those negative thoughts and you're sharing those with your family and friends, then you're making their life more pessimistic. So we need to stop and we need to focus on the positive. How do we have positive thoughts? Use positive vocabulary. If you've got positive thoughts, it helps with manage your stress. You live longer. You have a stronger immune system. The benefits are unbelievable. And our thoughts are the most powerful thing that we have in our life. And if you're running around just thinking all negative thoughts, you're going to be very pessimistic. If you're running around thinking positive thoughts, you're going to be more optimistic. You're going to be looking forward to life. And our thoughts control everything that we do. And when you think about how do I create positive thoughts, surround yourself with positive people. Use positive affirmations to inspire and motivate you. So the takeaway from this, fear is not the problem. Fear is a perception of the problem. And when you find yourself in that fearful state, be kind to yourself. Don't get angry and frustrated. Stop and ask yourself who you can turn to for help, whether it's someone in your church, if it's a professional counselor. There is no fear too small or too great that can't be faced if you have someone stand beside you and help you. And as a neurotherapist and a psychotherapist, I understand where fear lives in the brain. I understand how it processes differently in the brain. It all processes on a subconscious level. And the only way that you can tap into that subconscious level is to create regulation. If I can help you do that in any way, I'd be delighted to, because when you're afraid, you're not living your life to the degree that you want to. I talk about it in my book, Turn Your Brain On to Get Your Game On. Life can get a lot more beneficial if you're moving.